నమస్తే టీసాట్ గురుకుల ఉద్యోగ గైడ్ కార్యక్రమానికి స్వాగతం. ఈ రోజు మనము పెడగాజీ ఆఫ్ సివిక్స్ జూనియర్ లెక్చరర్స్ సంబంధించి పేపర్ 2 100 మార్క్స్. సో ఈ పేపర్ ఎలా ఉండబోతుంది, అసలు ఎన్ని యూనిట్స్ ఉన్నాయి, యూనిట్స్లో ఇంపార్టెంట్ ఏంటి, ఎలా ప్రశ్నలు వస్తాయి, వాటికి ఎలా నోట్స్ ప్రిపేర్ చేసుకోవాలి, ఇలాంటి అనేక విషయాలకు సంబంధించి క్లియర్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ఇవ్వడానికి మనతో పాటు సబ్జెక్ట్ ఎక్స్పర్ట్ దీపా మ్యామ్ ఉన్నారు. మ్యామ్ నమస్తే.
నమస్తే
మ్యామ్, వెల్కమ్ టు స్టూడియో. ఫస్ట్ మ్యామ్, యాక్చువల్గా మనకు పెడగాజీ ఆఫ్ సివిక్స్కి సంబంధించి ఎన్ని యూనిట్స్గా వీటిని డివైడ్ చేశారు, ఆ యూనిట్స్లో ఇంపార్టెన్స్ ఏంటి, వాటిని ఎలా ప్రిపేర్ చేసుకోవాలి, ముందు ఆ యూనిట్స్ గురించి క్లియర్గా చెప్పండి మ్యామ్.
ఎస్ మ్యామ్, ష్యూర్ మ్యామ్, డెఫినెట్లీ. నమస్తే అండి. సో గురుకుల ఉద్యోగ గైడ్ వ్యూవర్స్ అందరికీ వామ్ వెల్కమ్. బేసికలీ ద స్కీమ్ ఆఫ్ ఎగ్జామినేషన్ గురించి చెప్తాను. ఐ విల్ టెల్ యూ ద స్కీమ్ ఆఫ్ ద ఎగ్జామినేషన్ ఫస్ట్ సో దట్ యూ విల్ అండర్స్టాండ్ what is the pedagogy and how is it related to the physics subject. So the scheme of the examination is paper 1, which deals with general studies, general abilities and basic proficiency in English. It has 100 questions and 120 minutes is the time, which is the duration, and paper 2 is pedagogy of concerned subject. 100 questions are there in this question paper, and then it is being given 120 minutes duration. For paper 3, subject discipline knowledge, concerned subject. For this also 100 questions and 120 minutes. So pedagogy of civics. Coming to pedagogy, what is the meaning of pedagogy? Before the aspirant, before preparing for the exam, they should know the term pedagogy. So the pedagogy, the word pedagogy means, basically it was first used in the 16th century. The term pedagogy originally comes from the Greek word pedagogia, means child's tutor. Pedagogy is the science and art of education. The word pedagogy comes from the Greek word pedagogos, which means teacher, and is a compound of paidos, child, and agogos, leader. Hence it means leading the child or educating the child. It makes the relationship between the teacher and the learner much closer as they work together to determine the best learning experience. In this syllabus there are 10 chapters. Pedagogy of civics has 10 chapters which you have to go through and you need to prepare for the exam. There is very less time, so you need to concentrate on each and every unit in the syllabus. The chapters are 10. So going forward, first chapter is the nature of social sciences and its historical development, including the contributions of important social scientists and thinkers given in the school subject. Importance of social sciences in school curriculum. This is the first chapter. We will go through this 10 chapters, I mean these 10 units which are in the syllabus, which are given in the syllabus. All these 10 chapters are very important. Most important also I have said in between, and I have prepared the question paper also for you, so that it will be easy for you to know and analyze what are the kinds of questions you will be facing, and based on pedagogy what are the questions which you will be faced in the examination. So in this syllabus we will go through this 10 chapters. These are 6 to 10 chapters again. So what is civics? When you are writing an exam based on pedagogy of civics, so leading a child into the subject of civics, how is it related? Why a teacher has to know the definition of civics? Why is it important? Let us see forward. Further, the term civics is derived from the Latin word civicus, which means relating to citizen. It relates to one's behavior affecting one another. I mean, in the city we live in a society, so the behavior of one person will be affecting other citizen also. Civic education is a study of the theoretical, political and practical aspects of citizenship, as well as its rights and duties. Civics is a branch of social sciences, you know that. social science is an umbrella term. So civics is a branch of social sciences. It has traditionally been defined to be the study of the state and its various institutions. This branch utilizes a systematic approach to study the governance by the use of scientific analytical methods. In the contemporary world, however, civics encompasses much more. This branch of study now involves the study of cultural, societal as well as psychological factors that are found to have a mutual influence on the body politic and the functioning of the government. Here the body politic means it is local and it can be state level as well as national level, international level. So chapter 1, as I said before, we will go in depth in the chapter 1. Into the chapter 1 now. Civics education is important. Why is it important? Because it helps to develop the skills. Here the instructor, the lecturer, the teacher who is preparing for TGT, PGT, JL exam, they are basically they need to chisel the child. They are like sculptors. They need to chisel the child. So we need to know what is civics in order to chisel the child's nature, behavior in all dimensions, in order to bring holistic development in the child. So civic values and dispositions, including an appreciation for civil discourses, free speech and engaging with those whose perspectives differ from their own. It promotes peaceful coexistence among people of different ethnic groups and also enhances individual growth in promoting national integration. Civics education is an essential part of any country's nation building and young people's school experience. The notion of citizenship, however, is facing challenges from an increasingly globalizing and technologically mediated world. How government works, how they can participate in the democratic process. So we are moving to second chapter. Second chapter talks about aims and objectives of teaching civics. What are the aims and objectives? To obtain knowledge on the nature and scope of civics, to understand the aims and objectives of teaching civics, to examine the need and significance of teaching civics, as well as to explore the values of teaching civics. Now moving to chapter 3, psychology of teaching and learning social sciences. Why the teacher needs psychology of the child to be known? Why she should study the psychology? Basically, this unit is included to understand the psychology of the child. How can you understand the psychology of child? Let us know this. According to International Bureau of Education, effective pedagogy in social sciences is when it is integrative. Psychology can be applied to civics education. For example, positive psychology can be used to promote civility in the classroom. This is an example which I have given. The question is, if the child has different kinds of skills, so how do you identify the skills? When the teacher evaluates the child, what are the basic tools which she uses to evaluate? So which social skills does the teacher observe? Here the options which I have given are written test, oral test, observation and interview. Basically, in order to evaluate the child in social environment, teacher uses observation. Coming to chapter 4. Chapter 4 talks about social science curriculum, construction, organization and development. Now what is the term curriculum? The word curriculum in fact is a Latin word. Currere is the word from which it is being derived as to run. To run means it is a race course for a child. It indicates that it has a clear start and an end point with challenges along the way. So what is a curriculum? How is it being constructed? The teacher has to know how is the curriculum being constructed, organized and developed based on child as well as teacher. Curriculum will be in teacher-centered as well as the child-centered also. National Focus Group recognizes the efforts made in the past to create an ideal social studies curriculum to ensure that the curriculum recommendations are adequately translated into textbooks. The NFG, which is National Focus Group, has also highlighted the main issue to be addressed in order to make the social sciences an intellectually and professionally valuable subject of study. It also enables students to understand the society, and it helps the child to appreciate the values in the society. About if they are in the classroom, they will appreciate other children's efforts also. So in the Indian Constitution, basically Indian Constitution is a supreme law. What is meant by Constitution? The child has to understand the Constitution, the term Constitution. If the child has to understand the Constitution, then teacher should be well equipped to teach what is meant by Constitution, the basics of Constitution. Chapter 5. We are going towards chapter 5. This is a very important chapter. This chapter talks about approaches, methods, techniques of teaching social sciences with special reference to the topics in the school curriculum. Interdisciplinary approach in teaching social sciences. The approaches are approaches to teaching in teaching civics. What are the approaches? The approaches are dialectical approach, biographical approach, scientific approach, postmodernist approach, nationalist approach, dramatization, discovery approach and inquiry approach. These are different kinds of approaches which teacher uses. For example, discovery approach, how the teacher approaches the child through discovery method. The facilitator requires mental processes such as observing, measuring, classifying, guessing, explaining, drawing conclusions. It helps students in solving problems. Now, the methods and techniques of teaching social sciences. What are the methods? There are different kinds of methods: storytelling method, supervised method, textbook method, source method, lecture method, demonstration method, dramatization method, team teaching method. These are the examples so that you will understand. They may give you the question based on this also. What are the techniques or methods used? You need to identify. Chapter 6. Moving to chapter 6, it's about planning for effective instruction in social sciences. What are the different plans and designing in learning? These plans are basically unit approach, concentric approach and topical approach. Further, if we move into plans, types of plans. There are types of plans: year plan, unit plan, lesson plan, Herbartian lesson plan, instructional objectives. Chapter 7 talks about learning resources and designing instructional material in social sciences, social science labs, teaching aids, textbooks, ICT in social sciences. So, what is the criteria for a good social textbook? How is internet helpful? What are the different kinds of educational softwares present in the market, including AI? ChatGPT is also there now. So, what are the different kinds of softwares which are being supportive to teacher as well as to the student also? You need to be aware of this. Benefits of IT for teachers, open access, journals also. The use of social studies laboratory can provide several benefits, including making it easier for students to understand the material and improving their attitude and skills by working together. Now, what are these social studies laboratories? social study lab consists of globes, timelines, models, charts, slide albums, flags, goods. These are different kinds of things which are present in social studies lab. One question may be given based on this social studies lab. Sorry. Chapter 8. Moving to chapter 8 now. This chapter talks about evaluation, measurement and evaluation in social science, CCE model, which is continuous and comprehensive evaluation, tools and techniques of evaluation, achievement and diagnostic tests. We'll see further what are the tools, how are they used. Tools and techniques of evaluation, there are 6 types of tools which are used by social scientists. They are surveys, interviews, focus groups, field observation, experimentation and existing data. Now this is also important, achievement and diagnostic test. How does the teacher diagnose the student? How does she evaluate? There are certain tools to evaluate the child. It depends on the formative assessment as well as the summative assessments also. Oral tests are there. So these are different kinds of achievement and diagnostic test. Further, if we move, this is the different kinds of techniques and tools which are used by teacher. I have briefed here so that you will be able to understand. Evaluation devices are of quantitative devices as well as qualitative devices. Under the quantitative devices, oral test, practical based, written test, essay type, objective type, short answer types are being segregated. Here again in qualitative you go. In qualitative evaluation devices you have interview, observation, rating scale, records, questionnaires as well as checklist. Moving to chapter 9, learning disabilities, difficulties and education of exceptional disabled children in social sciences. How will you identify the disability of the child? In an inclusive classroom, you need to know how to teach the child. There will be different kinds of children in the same set of classroom. So these disabilities may be depending on different kinds of specific learning disabilities. We will see further what are the types of disabilities which children have, how do we face, how the particular children has to learn. These learning disabilities are dyslexia. Dyslexia means it is difficulty in speaking. The child will be the child will face difficulty in speaking. How you need to address this issue as a teacher. So dysgraphia. Dysgraphia is child is not able to write proper, difficulty in writing. This condition is characterized by poor handwriting. So how can you help as a teacher? Dyscalculia means difficulty in calculation. And another one is auditory processing disorder, APD, language processing disorder, non-verbal learning disabilities, which is also called NVLD, visual perceptual visual motor deficit. These are the kinds of disorders which you need to identify and how you are going to deal with this issue while teaching. So National Educational Policy NEP 2020 is a policy formulated by the government of India to promote education in India. Basically it aims to ensure that no child loses any opportunity to learn and excel because of the circumstances of birth or background. Special emphasis will be given on socially and economically disadvantaged groups, and which includes gender, socio-cultural and geographical identities and disabilities. The policy also aims to ensure universal access at all levels of schooling from pre-primary school to grade 12. Now this is very important, you need to keep in mind ensuring quality every childhood care and education for all children between 3 to 6 years. The new curricular and pedagogical structure is 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. So this is the 10th chapter. Moving to 10th chapter, social sciences and everyday life, non-formal social sciences. Government political ideas, country, economy and resources includes the deliberate attempts of parents and elders in the family and community to help the young ones grow and adapt themselves to the environment. So this is non-formal social sciences, how the child knows about different situations in the playground, how they are dealing with the friends. So this is all about non-formal. Informal education would also includes all incidental learning that takes place while at work or at play and during travels, as well as spontaneous learning through films, radios and televisions. So out of these 10 chapters, most weightage is given to chapter 2, 5 and 8, which I have explained to you. And chapter 15, if you see, this chapter has been allotted 15 marks for chapter 2, 5 and 8. So totally it is 45 marks will be given, and chapter 1, 4, 6, 7 you will be given 40 marks for this chapter allocated. Chapter 1, 4, 6 and 7, it covers 40 marks. Chapter 3, 9 and 10, which talks about child psychology and child development, it carries 15 marks. Now these are the questions, types of questions which you may face. General MCQs will be 15, direct questions 20, match the following 10 questions, negative statements which are not. Negative statements you need to understand not. In the question itself it is given as not. So it will be 20 questions, 20, multiple correct answers 20 questions, beyond the textbook 5 questions, assertion and reasoning 10 questions. We are going into the questions now. How are the questions framed? Let us see these questions also. How does democracy allow us to correct its own mistakes? This is the question. Options are A, mistakes are hidden and cannot be corrected. B, re-electing the same government to enable it to correct its mistakes. C, the rulers can be changed. D, none of the above. The answer is the rulers can be changed. Next question is one person, one vote. What do you mean by this? One person, one vote. Options are A, one person is to be voted by all. B, one person has one vote and each vote has one value. C, a person can vote only once in his life. D, both A and C. So you need to think and answer. Here the answer is B. One person has one vote and each vote has one value. Another question which you may face is, which organ of government is required to protect the rights of the citizen? So you will be thorough by now. What are the organs of the government? Executive, legislature, judiciary. Legislature means it is framing laws. Executive means implementing laws. Judiciary, justifying. It talks about judiciary. So here, which organ of the government is required to protect the rights of the citizens? Answer is independent judiciary, and D is not the option. D is not the answer. Next question. The word democracy comes from the Greek word. How is it derived? A, democratia. B, democratia. C, demos. D, kratia. B is the correct answer. It is democratia. Another question which I have framed is, at what level does a Panchayat Samiti operates? Panchayat Samiti operates Panchayat Raj structure. At what level? There are 3 levels. What are those levels? We will go in further. Here the option is district level, B, village level, C, Gram Sabha, D, block level. The answer is block level. So these are the levels, 3-tiered structure of Panchayat Raj. First level is village level, block level and district level. So I have given here the note also, head of Gram Panchayat is Sarpanch. These type of questions you may face. So you need to be thorough with this type of questions also. If you go through the syllabus from chapter, I mean you have to go through 6th standard onwards, the textbooks, NCERT textbooks from 6th standard onwards to 10th standard 10th standard. So if you are thorough with the subject, then you will be able to answer these questions. Next question is, the ordinance issued by governor is valid for a maximum period of, first option 1 year, second is 2 years, 3 6 months, 4 8 months. Correct answer is 6 months. Another question, how many countries are members of SAARC? The members, how many of them are the members in SAARC? They may ask. The options are, first option 5, 2, 3, third option is 7, fourth option is 8. So who are those 8 members? Those 8 members are, the member states are Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Maldives, Nepal, Pakistan and Sri Lanka. SAARC, you know the full form of it, South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. So next question, the dash automatically becomes the chairman of Rajya Sabha. Who becomes automatically the chairman of Rajya Sabha? Options are president, first option is president, second vice president, 3 prime minister, 4th is CGI. What do you think? The answer here is vice president. Vice president automatically becomes the chairman of Rajya Sabha. So here another question which I have framed here is, the Confederation of Indian Industry has sought the inclusion of tourism in the concurrent list to enable the center and states to effectively regulate the sector. First statement here given is, the 7th schedule of the Indian Constitution includes the subjects of concurrent list. Second statement here given is, public health, livestock falls under the concurrent list. So if you are not aware of this concurrent list, you will not be able to answer this question. Which among the above statements are correct? Here only one, first statement is correct. The 7th schedule of the Indian Constitution includes the subjects of concurrent list. Now there are 3 lists here. In the Constitution, powers are divided. How are the powers divided? Union list, state list and concurrent list. What are the subjects in union list? What are the subjects in state list and concurrent list? You should know. In union list there are 97 subjects, in state list there are 66 subjects and in concurrent list 47 subjects. You should be aware of the subjects also, what comes under union list, state list and concurrent list. This I have given it for you. In union list, it is defense, atomic energy, foreign affairs, war and peace, banking, railways, post and telegraph, airways, foreign trade, currency and coinage. These are examples, the subject which come under union list. In state list, it deals with state. So state legislature can make laws on these matters. What are those? Agriculture, police, prison, local government, public health, land, liquor, livestock and animal husbandry, state public services. Now coming to concurrent list, this both union and state legislature alone can make laws on these matters. What are these matters? The subjects are education, transfer of property other than agricultural land, forests, trade unions, adulteration and adoption and succession. So those are the lists which we spoke about. Sometimes in the question paper you may face negative answers, as I have already said before earlier. What are these kinds of negative answers? Let us see those questions. Here the question is, which one of the following is not a feature of Gandhian scheme of holistic development? First one, human development. Second, reduction in poverty through education. 3, balanced development. 4, development in social justice, rights and freedom. So here the answer is reduction in poverty through education is not a feature of Gandhian scheme of holistic development. So you should be aware of thinkers, different thinkers and their contributions. Here in this question, the basic objectives of Gandhian scheme of holistic development are, there are 3. One is human development, including moral development for capability expansion. 2 is development in a balanced way through manual and intellectual labor, which is development of mind, body and soul. Third one is development in social justice, rights and freedom. So here, reduction in poverty through education is not a feature of Gandhian scheme of holistic development. So you should be aware of thinkers, contributors, as I said. Now let us see one more question here. Another question which I have taken is from the previous syllabus, from the previous question papers. I have taken these questions and framed. Here the question is, who wrote the book Administrative Behavior? Is it option 1, Robert Havman, 2, David P. Easton, 3, Herbert A. Simon, A, Ralph Newit. Who wrote this book? It is written by Herbert A. Simon. We'll go to another question. Governance is possible only with assistance. It has been a quotation. It is a quotation given by whom? A single wheel does not move according to who is the thinker here. A government cannot move with a single wheel. So here Kautilya is the correct answer. Kautilya, Chanakya or Vishnugupta. The state is like a chariot with the sovereign, means Swami, forming one wheel and his ministers, Amatyas, making up the other. In order to move and be steered in the right direction, the chariot needs both wheels. Government can't run only on one wheel, right? So here it is been stated by Kautilya. It makes a good governance. According to the World Bank 1992, good governance is central to creating and sustaining an environment which fosters strong and equitable development, and it is an essential complement to sound economic policies. Another question, if we see further, based on diagnostic tests, evaluation tools. Here the question is, which of the following statement is true relating to diagnostic test in social sciences? First option, diagnostic test is quantitative. Second is, test items of diagnostic test are arranged in order of difficulty. B, diagnostic test items are simply analyzed on the basis of students' attire. 4, any teacher can score and interpret diagnostic test. What do you think? Here the option is 2. Test items of diagnostic test are arranged in order of difficulty. So if you know, as an aspirant, if you know this in depth, what are the diagnostic tests, tools of evaluation, you will be able to answer this in the examination hall. Here the option 2, here option 2 is the correct one. Test items of diagnostic tests are arranged in order of difficulty. Diagnostic tests are used to identify the strengths and weaknesses of students before instruction begins. They are used to diagnose students' difficulties and to guide lesson and curriculum planning. So these are the tips which I have framed, I mean the questions which I have framed for the the candidates who are writing the exam.
Yes, ma'am.
I hope they will be they should understand the constitution also. And another thing is they should be well aware of the rights, fundamental rights and duties of the citizen.
Okay.
If you are aware with the constitutional laws, ours is the lengthiest constitution, you know that. So if you are aware of all these articles relating to the rights, fundamental duties, directive principles of state policy, you will be well equipped to write the subject. You will be well equipped to write the exam.
Yes. నిజంగా చాలా క్లియర్గా ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేశారు మ్యామ్ అభ్యర్థులకైతే. అయితే వాట్ అబౌట్ నెగిటివ్ మార్కింగ్, అంటే నెగిటివ్ మార్కింగ్ ఉంది కాబట్టి పెడగాజీ ఆఫ్ సివిక్స్ సంబంధించి గెస్ చేయడం కానీ లేదంటే ఎలిమినేట్ చేయడం ప్రాసెస్ కానీ ఎంతవరకు కరెక్ట్, వాళ్ళు ఎంతవరకు దాన్ని బార్డర్ లైన్ చేసుకోవాలంటే ఏం చెప్తారు?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, here elimination process is very tough here. You should not, you know, if you don't know the answer, please don't mark the answer. If you read the question thoroughly, negative markings are there, so it is 1/4 will be deducted. If you write 4 answers which are negative, then you will lose marks here. So instead of answering and losing marks, it is better not to opt the question or answer itself. You read the question thoroughly and understand. So when we know that there are negative marks, it is better not to opt. So if you are thorough with the subject, definitely you will have somewhere or the other. If you read the question, you will come to know what is the question and how is it related to the answer and what is the correct option. If you know the answer, then only you have to opt for it.
Okay. And different type of question patterns ఉన్నాయి, లైక్ నాట్ ఉంది, లేదంటే ఫిల్ ఇన్ ద బ్లాంక్స్ టైప్ ఉన్నాయి. సో వీటిలో ఎవరైతే ఆస్పిరెంట్స్ ఉన్నారో వాళ్ళకి ఎక్కువగా ఇబ్బంది కలిగించేది ఏదంటే మీరు ఏం చెప్తారు? ఏ విషయంలో చాలా క్లియర్గా ఉండాలి, కాస్త మైండ్ అక్కడే పెట్టి ఉండాలి అంటే?
Basically in this not questions, negative questions, it is only for confusing.
Okay.
Answer is very easy, you need to just think, but it is given in a negative way. So it is easy to identify, but you know negative questions are little bit difficult. It is a tricky questions which will be framed, but hopefully if you are thorough with the subject, definitely you will be able to give the answer.
ఓకే. 2, 5, 8 చాప్టర్స్ ఇంపార్టెన్స్ అన్నారు కదా, వాటికి సంబంధించి నోట్స్ ప్రాసెస్లో ఏమైనా స్టూడెంట్స్కి టిప్స్ చెప్తారా, ఎలా చేయాలి ఏంటి అంటే? ఆల్రెడీ మీరు ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేశారు, దాంట్లో ఇంకేమైనా వాళ్ళకి కొంచెం క్లారిటీగా ఉండి వాళ్ళు నోట్స్ ప్రిపేర్ చేసుకునేటువంటి ప్రాసెస్, ఎందుకంటే చాలా ఎక్కువ మార్క్స్ అక్కడే ఉన్నాయి కాబట్టి దానికి సంబంధించి అని చెప్తారా?
Yes ma'am, definitely. 2, 5, 8 చాప్టర్స్ ఇప్పుడు అందులో ఎక్కువ we have in these chapters weightage is given. Because once you understand, if you go through the syllabus, take out the printout of the syllabus and then you see it is written in the syllabus itself, main objectives of teaching civics through this pedagogy. If you are thorough with these objectives, you will have the knowledge what are the kinds of questions you will face. Basically if you see nature and scope of civics, what is the nature, what are the aims and objectives, significance of civics, and what are the values of teaching civics. In this second chapter, if you go forward, chapter 3 is talking about psychology. So 4th is talking about curriculum construction. If you don't know how the curriculum is being constructed as a TGT or PGT aspirant, you will not be able to give correct answer in the examination hall. You will just bubble some other negative answer. So you need to understand the curriculum, how is it framed, child-centered or teacher-centered, what are the types of curriculum which are there, how it is being developed, how it is being organized, and what are the plans in it. So these are the chapters which have been given importance, ma'am, so that basically the teacher has to understand the child.
ఓకే. అంటే వీళ్ళంతా కూడా జూనియర్ కాలేజ్ పిల్లలకి టీచ్ చేయాల్సిన వాళ్ళు కాబట్టి సబ్జెక్ట్ చాలా డిగ్గింగ్ చేయాల్సి ఉంటుందా, లేదంటే ఎలా ఉంటుంది మ్యామ్? మనకు సబ్జెక్ట్ తీసుకుంటే ఇప్పుడు ఏదైనా టాపిక్ తీసుకుంటే చాలా డిగ్ చేసే విధంగా ఉంటుందా, లేదా జస్ట్ చదివేస్తే సరిపోతుంది అంటారా, ఎలా ఉంటుంది?
Ma'am, whatever you study, whatever you read, I basically suggest you to go in depth.
Yes.
if you don't know what are the roots of the subject, you will not be able to explain the student also.
Okay.
So once the lecturer is thorough with the subject, then she can she can give the answers also. If the question is being faced by her, she can give the answer based on the subject. So I suggest in-depth studies.
పీజీటీ టీజీటీ ప్రీవియస్ ఇయర్స్ క్వశ్చన్ పేపర్స్ మనం చూసాం కదా,
Yes.
ఆ టైప్ ఆఫ్ మనకు జేఎల్లో వచ్చేటువంటి అవకాశం ఉందా?
Mostly, ma'am. Yes.
ఎలా ఉంటుంది?
I have gone through the question papers also. There were no questions which have been question papers related to pedagogy of civics.
Okay.
So it is better if you opt for other question papers and other sources which are available relating to PGT, TGT. In fact, in advance also you can just go and check a degree question papers also.
ఓకే. అండ్ సివిక్స్కి సంబంధించి ఎగ్జామ్ హాల్లో ఎక్కువగా స్టూడెంట్స్ ఎక్కడ మిస్టేక్స్ చేసే ఛాన్సెస్ ఉంది అంటే క్వశ్చన్స్ అనలైజ్ చేసే విషయంలో ఎలా ఉంటుందంటే ఏం చెప్తారు?
Ma'am, relating to civics, basically students, I mean the aspirants, what they think is they know everything.
Yes.
Because in our daily life we see it is relating to a citizen.
Okay.
So they think it is not a subject to study. Civics, it is automatically been acquired. Just going through just fundamentals of the civics are enough. It is not so. You need to go and study. You need to be thorough with the subject.
Okay.
Do the syllabus first.
Yes. What about NCERT? 6th to 10th is
Yes.
enough, sir? 11th or 12th also? Only
12th, 11th and 12th are also, ma'am. 6th to 10th are the basic foundations.
Okay.
So 11th and 12th are a little bit advanced, but I suggest those also.
Okay. Notes tips ఏమైనా చెప్తారా? How they prepare notes?
Yes, ma'am. In the syllabus, each and every topic is being explained to you. So now, as I have stated, like these, if you see, I've explained here. I will show this.
Yes.
Yeah. Most weightage is given to chapter 1, 4, 6 and 7. It has been allotted 40 marks. So if you are thorough with this 1st, 4th and 6th and 7th chapters, basically you will be able to gain more marks. At least 90 to 95 if you want to get. You should be thorough with this syllabus. If you don't know how to answer, then if you are just going to write the exam blindly, that doesn't work out over here. You have got the syllabus, and what are the weightages which are given? Most weightages which are given in the syllabus, you need to keep in mind and prepare the notes. The time is very less, ma'am, now.
Yes.
It is very, very less. So it is better to practice.
Okay.
There are a lot of sources online as well.
టెస్ట్ పేపర్ ఏమైనా ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయమంటారా? సిరీస్
yes,
ఎలా
ma'am,
సజెస్ట్
test
చేస్తారు?
paper. Previous question papers have been given.
Okay.
TGT, PGT question papers are also there.
Yes.
Yes, they can just download the question paper and prepare well.
Okay. And they are in end stage now. Actually they are preparing so long.
Yes.
So ఇప్పుడు ఉన్నటువంటి పొజిషన్లో టైంని యూటిలైజ్ చేసుకోవాలంటే ఏం చెప్తారు, ఎస్పెషల్లీ సివిక్స్కి సంబంధించి?
I suggest not to go into in-depth of taking lot of books, ma'am.
Okay.
Because it doesn't work out. So previous question papers,
Okay.
focus on those. And newspapers, what
Okay.
are the general things which are going out?
Okay.
For example, Uniform Civil Code, which is related to civics.
Okay.
So these are the examples which I can quote, but I suggest you to go through the question papers.
Yes.
Previous.
ఓకే మ్యామ్, మీరు ప్రీవియస్ క్వశ్చన్ పేపర్స్ చూసారు కాబట్టి చెప్పండి, ఈసారి క్వశ్చన్ పేపర్ హార్డ్గా ఉండే ఛాన్సెస్ ఉందా ఏంటి అంటే డే బై డే వస్తున్నటువంటి పేపర్స్ చూస్తుంటే టఫ్ చేస్తారా లేదా ఉంటుందా?
Ma'am, I have seen the group 1 question paper
Okay.
also. Question papers are framed in such a way, they are very pragmatic.
ఓకే.
So practically, if you see the questions which are being framed, some of them are out of the textbook.
ఎస్.
You should have the knowledge of
Yes.
present scenario also
Okay.
to answer the questions. So only studying itself into the subject is
Okay.
not sufficient. You
Okay.
should have all round. You should have the knowledge of everything around you.
అండ్ వాట్ అబౌట్ 6th to 10th ఎన్సీఆర్టీ బుక్స్ ప్రిపరేషన్ ప్రాసెస్, నోట్స్ ప్రిపరేషన్కి సంబంధించి ఎలా చేసుకోమంటారు 6th to 10thకి సంబంధించి ఇప్పుడు ఉన్నటువంటి టైంలో? ఎందుకంటే మనం కొత్తగా చెప్పేసి వాళ్ళు మళ్ళీ న్యూ అడ్వైస్ కానీ లుక్ కానీ కష్టం కాబట్టి వాళ్ళు ఆల్రెడీ ప్రిపేర్ అవుతున్నారు కాబట్టి ఈ టైంలో వాళ్ళకి ఏది అయితే బాగుంటుంది?
Ma'am, in 6th to 10th standard, NCERT books are very good.
Yes.
You can just go through those books. Basically, those are the foundational books.
Okay.
So in fact, as a tip, if you would like to have, it is constitution. You should know about the constitution also. Many of the questions have been asked from the articles related to fundamental rights, RTE, and directive principles of state policy.
ఈ సైంటిస్ట్లకు సంబంధించి క్వశ్చన్స్ ఎలా వచ్చే ఛాన్సెస్ ఉన్నాయంటే ప్రీవియస్ చూసారు కదా ఎక్కువగా అలాంటి కొన్ని ఇప్పుడు మీరు అన్నట్టు సార్క్కి సంబంధించి కూడా కొన్ని కంపల్సరీ రిపీట్ అవుతున్నటువంటి క్వశ్చన్స్ కూడా ఉంటాయి కాబట్టి ఏ టాపిక్స్ ఎక్కువగా రిపీట్ అయ్యే ఛాన్సెస్ ఉన్నాయి?
Basically, most of the questions may be repeated, ma'am. Most of the questions are based on the previous question papers. Thinkers, those thinkers are not out of the textbook. They will be giving only from the syllabus itself. So if you go through the thinkers and social scientists, that would be better.
How many marks it will maybe come from thinkers, ma'am?
About thinkers, mostly they will be giving around 20, not 20, 10 marks. Basically 5. About 5 thinkers they may shoot the questions.
Could you suggest important thinkers that help to aspirants?
Aristotle, Chanakya, as I have given you one of the example here. So these are the thinkers which they can. And another thinkers which you are talking about in the social scientists are relating to the civics, subject civics is our father of the constitution, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, his contributions, and other thinkers also. Basically, you need to be aware of their contributions.
And ma'am, civics ki sambandhinchi we have lots of information through internet, what it may be. Civics is largest subject and we have lots of information. How we have to filter in that? Adi mana process cheptara edi teeskomantaru the best?
Ma'am, here we need to concentrate on syllabus.
That's better.
Civics is vast and it is a beautiful subject. It gives the values, it imbibes the values into the student. So the teacher who is preparing here, the lecturer who is preparing for this subject, automatically by now they will be well aware of all the syllabus contents and whatever is given in the syllabus. They will be going through all the units in unit wise. So the syllabus itself is sufficient.
And civics anagana aspirants lo little bit negligency untundi. So dani gurinchi em cheptaru? How much time they have to give to civics ante em antaru?
Ma'am, for any subject, negligence doesn't play a role. For a student who is very studious, who is studying well, who want to acquire more than, who want to gain more than 90 to 95%, please don't neglect your studies. If you are focused, you should focus continuously. Your aim is to achieve. You should be the topper.
Ma'am, 100 marks, 120 minutes. How to utilize the time in that center particularly? Any advice?
You need to divide the time, ma'am. For example, if 100 marks are there for 120 minutes, for 1 minute, if you just read the answer, if read the question first, think about it. And you need to practice. Unless and until you practice, you can't read fast. So thorough reading is required. If you practice taking out the previous question papers, I feel like you will be able to read. Within 1 minute you can read one question and give the answer also.
And notes preparations ki sambandhinchi civics lo emanna betterments kosam follow avalsina rules emana untayi ante one by one rayadaniki ippudu history ki sambandhinchi aithe manamu oka source ni oka pattern ni follow avutuntam kada ala civics of especially pedagogy ki sambandhinchi notes preparation emana tips cheptara?
Yes, ma'am. If you pull out this syllabus, you have to prepare the notes. But now you don't have time to prepare the notes. So it is depending on the syllabus. You need to focus on the syllabus and on the other contributors, I mean the thinkers or authors, especially MP Jain book, that is one of the book. Basically it refers to the constitution. How is the constitution, Indian constitutional law, 𝗬𝗎𝗕 garu. This is also one of the book. These are the best books which you can go through.
సో ఇక లాస్ట్లో చెప్పాలంటే ఉన్నటువంటి టైంని ఎట్లా యూటిలైజ్ చేసుకోమంటారు? అండ్ పెడగాజీ ఆఫ్ సివిక్స్ సంబంధించి మీరు ఇచ్చే సజెషన్స్ ఏం చెప్తారు?
Last moment, in this last moment I would like to give you a tip is Of course, syllabus is important. And then time management. Manage your time. And don't focus on other things. When your aim is to achieve above 90%, you need to concentrate, sit and concentrate. Whatever things have happened in your life, please don't go back and see. Just sit and study and achieve. Get this job. Getting the job itself is not sufficient, right? So you need to understand the subject first, and then prepare the notes.
Yes.
Little time is there still sufficient, though it is not enough.
Okay.
You can prepare little notes or something, you know, for the tips before going to exam. Don't be hurry, don't panic.
Okay.
In the examination hall also, understand the question, read the question thoroughly, answer it. It is not from somewhere else, because you are going to the same exam which you have applied for. So you need to just sit and study.
అండ్ ఓఎంఆర్ షీట్ టిక్స్ సంబంధించి కూడా ఏమైనా
Yes,
చెప్తారా?
ma'am. Before, if you are in hurry, you
Yes.
can't bubble it properly. You
Yes.
can't even bubble your hall ticket number.
Yes.
So I have seen few people, they didn't even bubble properly their hall ticket numbers. That is in hurry,
Yes.
in anxiety. So don't do that.
Okay.
You be calm, cool, and be positive, and go ahead.
ఎస్ థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్ దీప మ్యామ్, చాలా క్లియర్గా ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేశారు. అండ్ ఇది ఆస్పిరెంట్స్ విన్నారు కదా, పెడగాజీ ఆఫ్ సివిక్స్కి సంబంధించి ఉన్నటువంటి 10 యూనిట్స్లో కూడా ఎలా డివైడ్ చేసి వస్తారు, ప్యాటర్న్ నాట్ క్వశ్చన్స్ కానీ లేదా మల్టిపుల్ క్వశ్చన్స్ కానీ. అండ్ మ్యామ్ చెప్పినట్టు సబ్జెక్ట్ని ఏవైతే 10 చాప్టర్స్ ఉన్నాయో వాటిని క్లియర్గా డివైడ్ చేసుకోండి. అఫ్కోర్స్ మీకున్న టైం చాలా తక్కువ, ఇప్పుడున్నటువంటి హరీబరీలో మళ్ళీ ఈ ప్రాసెస్ ఫాలో అవ్వమని చెప్పట్లేదు, కానీ మీరు చేసుకున్న దాని ప్రకారమే నోట్స్ క్లియర్గా ఉందా లేదో చెప్పుకోండి. అండ్ ప్రీవియస్ ఇయర్ క్వశ్చన్ పేపర్ మ్యామ్ చాలా కష్టపడి నిజంగా తీసుకొచ్చారు. చాలా చోట్ల నుంచి కూడా రీసెర్చ్ చేసి ఏవైతే బెటర్ క్వశ్చన్స్ ఉంటాయో ఆ క్వశ్చన్స్ ఇచ్చారు, కాబట్టి ఒకసారి ఆ క్వశ్చన్స్ చదవండి. అదేవిధంగా మీకున్నటువంటి ప్రీవియస్ ఎగ్జామ్స్ క్వశ్చన్ పేపర్స్ సంబంధించి కానీ, లేదా ఇంతకుముందు ఉన్నటువంటి ఏవైనా మీరు ప్రిపేర్ చేసుకున్నటువంటి నోట్స్కి సంబంధించి కానీ క్లియర్గా ఉన్నటువంటి నోట్స్ని మీరు దగ్గర పెట్టుకుంటే ఎగ్జామ్ అంటే టైం చాలా తక్కువగా ఉంది, ఉన్నటువంటి టైంలో మీకు లాస్ట్ మినిట్లో పనికొచ్చేది మీ నోట్సే, కాబట్టి ఆ నోట్స్ని ఎంత క్లియర్గా ప్రిపేర్ చేసుకుంటే మీకు అంత బాగుంటుంది. ఎనీహౌ పెడగాజీ ఆఫ్ సివిక్స్ సంబంధించి ఏదో లైట్ సబ్జెక్ట్ అని తీసుకోకండి, చాలా పెద్ద సబ్జెక్టు, చాలా ఎక్కువ స్కోర్ కూడా చేసుకునేటువంటి సబ్జెక్టు. మీకు కెరియర్కి ఇదే కాబట్టి, ఎందుకంటే జాబ్ తీసుకొచ్చుకునే ఎస్పెషల్లీ మీరు జూనియర్ లెక్చరర్స్కి సంబంధించి అంటే ఫర్దర్గా స్టూడెంట్స్కి జూనియర్ లెవెల్ స్టూడెంట్స్కి మీరు టీచ్ చేయాలి కాబట్టి ఆ ప్రాసెస్లో ఉంటుంది. కాస్త డిగ్ చేయమనే మేడం చెప్పారంటే సబ్జెక్ట్ని పైన తీసుకోకండి, కాస్త లోతులోకి వెళ్ళి దాన్ని డిగ్ చేసి ఏవైతే బెటర్గా ఉంటాయో దాన్ని నోట్స్ రాసి పెట్టుకోండి. ఎనీహౌ మీకు ఇప్పుడు ఉన్నటువంటి ఈ తక్కువ టైంని యూటిలైజ్ చేసుకొని బెటర్ రిజల్ట్స్ సాధిస్తారని ఆశిస్తున్నాం. థ్యాంక్ యూ.